shout out to Boxing Bros UK.
Thanks, my brother.
Cheers, bro. Thanks.
Everybody, this is Boxing Bros UK here. I am a the boss, Chris. It's my co-host, Andrew the Boxing Brain. And we've got a special guest again, Ollie Jones from Squeeze the Neck podcast. Boom, boom.
Hello, Ollie.
The topic of the day is, Andrew?
Moses versus Whyte. Couldn't be anything else, could it? You know, we've got to discuss this after a week. Plus, obviously, local Chatham boy to us. Right, probably quite near where you live, Chris. Actually, you're right in the heart of Chatham.
Yeah, I used to work at his gym. He used to be a member of Rochester Health Club, even his brother.
Ropes and Glory, nearly opposite the Magistrates, which is interesting. But yeah, listen, we got to start with Whyte because we're probably going to wax lyrical about Moses after. One we'll start with Ollie, our guest again. I think you see it straight away, don't you, on social media? Oh, he took a dive, he payday, the rest of it. We can't, can we, Ollie? We can't go, oh, this is a step up for Moses. Whyte's going to give him rounds. He's in great shape. We can't say that. Then after he demolishes him and done his job, go, oh, yeah, but actually Whyte was no good. Like, I hate it when that happens. Do you agree?
Yeah, no, people always do that, though, do they? You know what I mean? Like after recently, we mentioned it on the last one about we was talking briefly about Johnny Fisher. The amount of people ever go, oh, Johnny Fisher's rubbish now, and he's no good. And it's like, listen, what do you know about it for starters? But secondly, it's like, it's easy to be, you know, clever after the fact, isn't it? Armchair quarterback, I think they call it. Listen, he's it's one of them fights that, especially this one, whatever way this went, I think this was going to be one of them ones that people was going to give it. I told you, if Dillian Whyte gave him the sort of old man treatment and bullied him up close and won on points or something, people would have gone, I knew he weren't ready. And listen, it's just idiots trying to be clever, isn't it? You know. But I think we'll come on to him, obviously, as you said, Moses. But I think he's the real deal, man. I think he's, you know, he's run into someone at a time in his career, Dillian, where, I mean, by the sounds of things and everyone's speaking about it, you know, he's financially set. He's done great for himself. He hasn't won a world title, but outside of that, he's done pretty much everything in boxing. I think an element, he's not old. He's 37, right? And especially as a heavyweight, if you look after yourself, he's not old. He came in, I think someone said it was his lightest for 10 years. So he's in shape for the fight. And I think sometimes you can be a bit satisfied with what you've done. So I don't know if he's in that category. But I think sometimes you just run into someone who's on the up and up. And like Moses Itauma, that's a special cat right there, isn't it?
Yeah, for sure.
Well said, mate. Chris, what do you think? Do you think, because we were talking, weren't we, about Whyte? He's looking, I know he's obviously been very inactive, but people were saying, no, he's going to potentially be a big step up for him if he can sort of find some old form. What do you think with this then saying after, no good?
Firstly, I was saying to everybody, just because Dillian Whyte's in shape doesn't mean that all of a sudden he's 25 again and he's got his prime back. It just means that he's in good shape. He's still inactive. He's still been knocked out badly, cold, oxygen in the ring 3 times. You can be in the best shape of your life. If you haven't got it anymore, you haven't got it anymore. Even me, I hurt my chest. Might have looked good. I thought I could bench press 170 like I did when I was in my early 30s. And it exploded my chest because I looked as big and as good as I did when I was younger. So in my mind, I thought I was.
On the clock, boys. Miles are on the clock.
Exactly. He's giving himself the best chance to win, but the fact of the matter is, I said it before, he's still going to get knocked out inside 3 rounds because it doesn't matter how good shape he's in, too much miles on the clock, too much inactivity. He just hasn't, and his style is relying on his ruggedness, his athletic, and even his pop and his punches had gone.
Resilience.
It was all gone, so he could have been in the best shape, strength and condition, everything you want. It was still going to lose that fight inside 3 rounds for me because he's just too old, been knocked out too many times, too inactive. He just had no chance before. And it's not going to improve just because he's in shape. Because like you say with the car analogy, the car can look the best, but you look at the hood of that engine and it's fucking old and it's fucked.
But
it looks good on the outside.
You can refurb it as much as you like, but you know the miles on them clock are still there.
It's not going to come back. You can't undo it.
Yeah.
Did you hear rumours about Dillian's foot? Apparently, fight week, some of the journalists were hearing that Dillian's got a problem with his foot. I hadn't heard anything about it beforehand, but after it seemed like a thing, and it hasn't come from Dillian, right? So
it's a great question, Ollie. I think Sonny Edwards come out and reported it. I'm not sure where he's got the information. Right. Sonny Edwards come out and said Dillian Whyte had a bad leg injury. Now, of course, people are all, oh yeah, his ring entrance he was walking weird. You know, people start, but apparently What do you make of that, Ollie? Before we get Chris's take of it,
I mean, I don't think it's come from Dillian, has it? So I think Dillian's
No.
the sort.
He dismissed it, apparently, Ollie. He dismissed it, but
he dismissed it. All right, good. And I mean, some of these things, I think everyone that's ever fought knows that you go in there with something, right? There's always something a bit niggly and whatnot.
Yeah.
However bad it was, I just feel Dillian's cut from that cloth of he'll never make an excuse, and I don't think anyone should. Because at the end of the day, listen, you're as good as you were on that night, and he took the fight, and what's happened. And I think whether he had a bad foot, he was missing a leg, or his head was chopped off, that's what happened. It went down how it went down, and that's it.
Chris, what's your take on that bit of information? Is that sort of, do you roll your eyes, or you're like,
yeah, I just think, who cares? Like, it doesn't matter if he had rocket boots on. He weren't winning that fight, mate.
Maybe the best version of Dillian Whyte weren't going to win that fight, boys.
No, this is what I was saying. Even Dillian, in his absolute prime, fit, we don't even know if he can win that fight. We don't know. Because I think Moses is the real deal.
Yeah, Gareth Davis as well, and he said a few good points about things as well. And what's interesting, apparently, Dillian Whyte's got a son who's 4 years older than Moses Itauma.
Yeah, I heard that.
Because he's the youngest father in the UK.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Was he 13? Was he?
My mate who I went uni with, he went high school with Dillian. I said they used to call him Fat Dillian, and they said he was just this kid. Yeah, come over from Jamaica when he was 12. Everyone was. He's always bigger than everybody. Everyone's scared of him. All the girls liked him and that. Boom, then he babbied up some bird after a year when he was 13.
Should he retire now? But would you want to see him fight again, I guess is my question. Or
yeah, it's a good question. I think, well, firstly, it's always up to the fighter. Do you know what I mean? Because it's what he feels, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's the one that's got to go to bed at night and knows what's still left in the tank. And I think it's easy as well sometimes for people to fall in. He's just lost in devastating fashion. But look who he's lost. He's lost to a special guy, right? There's no reason he can't still go out there and beat, 90% of heavyweights, say. I don't know what he's got left on him in it, really. In terms of me personally, I don't want to see him fight anymore because I don't think I think it's fairly obvious he's not what he was. And when a fighter's been as good as they have and they keep fighting and they're ending up getting losses, like, I know I'm not putting him in the same category, but someone like Audley Harrison at the end of his career, people sort of make a fast of him. But if you look, he was an Olympic gold medalist, and you look at some of the wins he had, he was a European champion, all that. But now people, again, not that they know what they're talking about, but they make a bit of a fast of him. So personally, I wouldn't want to see him fight. But listen, he can still fight, can't he? You know what I mean? He's as tough as they come, Dillian. His chin might have gone a bit, but if he wants to fight, I want to see him fight. Do you know what I mean? Yeah,
Chris, I mean, all he's saying there, for the sake of his legacy, maybe it's now a time to bow out. You're going to look back and go, he's lost to Povetkin, AJ, Fury, and the second coming of Ahmad, Mike Tyson, Muhammad Ali. That ain't a bad resume, is it, Chris?
No. And he's got some good wins as well. He's beat Povetkin. He's beat Joseph Parker, and the way that he lost against the Fury loss was bad, but the way that he lost to Povetkin, he was swinging it out, and then he come back and avenged it, and that's why I love it.
That was, mate. Uppercut from fucking nowhere, wasn't it?
He's changed, Back in the day, if you hit Dillian, we've seen it in the AJ fight, he'll just stand his ground and start swinging windmills. He didn't do that. It's like AJ, against Fury and against Moses Itauma. When he got hit, he didn't start swinging like a madman and think, fuck it, I'm going to try and knock them out and get knocked out. He kind of just went all sheepish and backed up and just got himself knocked out anyway. So where he's lost that, I think maybe take the AJ fight just for the rematch for himself. Like, if he feels he can fight on, because he didn't really get to show what he's got left, then take the right fights like an AJ fight or, something with a bit of like nostalgia to it. But as trying to be a contender or whatever, I don't think he can carry on there. But if he wants to carry on fighting, earn some money, why not?
If he did carry on, I mean, what would we be looking at? Chisora free? I think Chisora wants his last fight to be a mega one if he can. But where would you kind of, if you were his promoter, if he said, right, I want one more, who would you match him up with as a kind of like goodbye kind of fight?
I think there's a lot of things about the Chisora one that is good, but at the same time, I wouldn't go for that one if I was in his camp because I think he got 2 wins over him, right? And Chisora, I don't think falls into the category where his chin's in question yet. You know what I mean? I'd probably look at someone like a Johnny Fisher, as a name in the game, and I'd still fancy Dillian Whyte to beat him. Do you know what I mean? So if I was in that camp, that's probably the angle I'd go at. Someone like that.
Good shout. So
you know what? For Johnny Fisher, that's a big risk as well. Obviously, you know what? That's a good fight for both because you don't know. Everyone will write Dillian Whyte off.
Yeah.
But I think because of Fisher's not got the best boxing ability, Dillian Whyte could actually win that.
Or even revisit Joe Joyce. He was lined up to fight Joe, wasn't he, at one point? Joe Joyce might not be a bad fight.
That's still a good fight, Ollie.
Yeah.
I'd still, if he's going to do like a last year, because sometimes I think with sportsmen in general, and it's a difficult to know when, because like, I don't want to go out like that. All right, we know what Moses Itauma is probably going to become, but he may be, you know, get a win, and then the problem is you get a win, he thinks, oh, I've still got it, carry on.
And listen, maybe he has. Maybe Moses is that good. Moses is just that guy.
It was good. He got stopped, but that's what I was going to ask. Stoppage, right? Stoppage, yes or no?
Yes.
Oh, good question. I should have had that one down, Chris. Well done for calling me out on that. Absolutely, for me, I agree with Ollie.
Yeah.
I know people are saying, oh, maybe, you know, why? He clearly was completely out. He was no way he was going to win that at all.
If you fall on your face, that's bad. He fell on his face. I know he used his hands to stop it, but you could just see in the first round he's already backing up to the ropes. It would have just been.
And it's so
survival mode.
No, let him fight another day.
We're back and forth here. Do you know what I mean? Like, that was early. I mean, stop that fight. Get him out of there.
100%. That was a good stoppage. At first, I was like, no, I'll give him a chance, but I was just in my feelings because I like Dillian. When I was watching it properly on the replay, I thought, good stoppage. He would have got up and he would have been out.
Yeah.
Because then he would have had to come out swinging and he would have just got counted. It's like Jamie TKV said, don't come at Moses. You can't come at him. You've got no way to beat him. That's what Jamie TKV, when we interviewed him, said, you can't come at Moses. You got to let him, your best chance is let him come to you. Even that's bad because his reflexes, especially if he's so good and he's 20, you're fucked. You can't just go at him. That's not the way to win. You got to let him come.
I'll ask you first. Comparing, I was looking at some a bit sad like this. I was looking at some of AJ and Fury's early fights, who are seen as big heavyweights. This generation of heavyweights fucking make me and Chris look quite small, and we're quite big fellas. They're all 6'5", 6'6", Wilder, Fury, all massive boys now, aren't they? But Fury and AJ were seen as quite. Fury was seen as athletic, but if Fury was seen as a good mover, quite coordinated, AJ, fast hands. Have you seen a heavyweight, Chris?
Mm-hmm.
In our generation, we weren't around when Muhammad Ali was here. Mm-hmm. Have you seen a heavyweight with this level of the way he puts his punches together, the way he's in and out, the coordination, the accuracy? Have you seen anything like it for such a big man, like for a long time? Because I haven't.
I think if you think back to like Lennox Lewis's early career when he was in his 20s, he wasn't doing this kind of stuff, really. Not at all. Even, I'd probably say the only heavyweight, because I like watching a lot of the old fighters, I'd probably say like Ali when he was coming out of the Olympics and he was making all that noise and he was wanting to fight for Liston. He's the only one who you can kind of like compare for speed and quickness and stuff like that. Let's just go to British fighters. Frank Bruno in his 20s. Wasn't doing what Moses was doing. Neither was Lennox Lewis. And I can't think of any other heavyweights that were doing what he's doing now. So that's got to bode well for the future, for sure. But I will say, when Hrgovic was 20, that's what people were saying about him. This is the future, blah, blah, blah. And he was so good and he had all them silky skills, not the power. So we still got to wait and see. But I do think he's the real deal. And it's his attitude. His attitude is so... He's not loud, he's not brash, he's very humble and he's very sensible in the way he talks. He said, I want to go my whole career without getting my chin tested. Because it's nothing to be proud of to say that you can take a shot. He said, I want to be proud to say no one can ever hit me on the chin because I'm that good. That kind of mentality, that's the right mentality to have a long career. A successful career in this game. Yeah, he's the real deal going forward for sure.
Nice one, Chris. I want to get your take on that because I just find it fascinating. I haven't seen anything like it. But what's your take on what Chris was saying there, Ollie?
Yeah, I think there's a lot to it. Going back in time for heavyweights that could move. Like the one that comes to my mind is Mike Tyson. I know it's a different type of movement, but he could bounce here, there, and everywhere, make you miss and do his thing. And like the power and the speed and everything like that. But I don't know if you boys are sort of UFC fans or anything like that. There's a few athletic guys in that heavyweight division over the years. But it's a little bit different because there's more going on, right? You're looking at sprawl, takedowns, all that kind of stuff. So bouncing and moving on your feet makes a bit more sense. Whereas, let's be honest, if you're a big 6'6", 110 kilo man, it ain't the easiest thing to do to bounce around on your feet, is it, for 12 rounds, you know? So, and I think if people are getting used to stiff jab and walking people down as a... well, we say like a young man when you're becoming a heavyweight, if you like, because a lot of heavyweights like Moses Itauma apparently has been fighting at heavyweight, like sparring, heavyweight since he was 15 years
15,
old.
yeah.
You know
Yes.
what I mean? So,
Yeah.
like, for him, I would imagine, and I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine he's been dealing with people that were bigger and stronger than him, right? So he's had to do that. So now suddenly he's bigger and stronger than all them. He's still got that. It makes everything fall together easy.
The speed and everything seems to be carrying with him, whether he can maintain that phrase, because we saw that with Mike Tyson. That kind of fell off, didn't it? But
Well,
yeah,
I think with Mike Tyson, he did it to himself by like buying kilos of cocaine and having parties and shit.
that probably don't help. Yeah.
If you read his books, he fucked himself.
Stop training right as well.
He got rid of his coach that was a direct student of course. He got rid of his
dying, obviously.
sniffing cocaine. He said even one of his fights, he had syphilis. He was taking antibiotics. He had a fucking STI. So his decline was only to do with drugs and partying. He could have been a legend if he had the discipline. He is a legend, but he could have been better if he stayed focused and disciplined.
I'm gonna come to Wally next on this one, and it's just a question you have to ask. Are we just in danger a little bit, though, Wally, of maybe hyping? We have to remember he's 20. And we're talking about people like Caballero and Parker just to give him rounds. I mean, that's insane.
I don't think so. I think he's the real deal, you know. And it's like what Chris was saying about his maturity and stuff. If you listen to him speak, you wouldn't think that's a 20-year-old kid, would you? You know what I mean? He sounds like he's about 30 and he's been in the game for 10 years. You know what I mean? Like,
Looked it as well.
Looks it, everything. I just think he's got all the physical and mental attributes going for him. I just feel like he's good. And especially this day and age, it's easy to say like people like Mike Tyson, who we've used as an example. You could go off the rails back in the day. Of course, you still can now, but the world's different. Like he's probably got people around him that are sort of taking care of everything he's got to be worried about outside. So I would imagine, I don't know this for a fact, but I would imagine he wakes up on a Monday morning and the only thing he's got to worry about is going to the gym. Do you know what I mean? So I think that takes a lot. That's it. So I think that takes a lot of problems out of your hands, doesn't it? But yeah, no, I think this kid is, as soon as Usyk retires, I don't see anyone beating this kid, man. I think he's going to be, if he wants to be and he keeps on the right path, I think he'll be undisputed champion for years. I think he's the best. I think he's the best out there.
There you go, Chris. Ollie speaks very highly, you know, he believes in his talent. Do you go along with that? Are you a bit concerned, mate?
I'm not concerned. I think, you know, after Usyk beat Dubois, and Turkey Al-Sheikh said, I want Moses Usyk next. I believe that Moses is the only person who can probably beat Usyk. If we break it down, Parker's already had his chance. He's already been a world champion. And he's had his chance. And I think he's good, but I don't think he can beat Usyk. Caballero, yeah, he's a great body puncher. But I still think he's not going to be able to beat Usyk. We don't know how good Moses is, yeah? And he did want to beat Mike Tyson's record. That was his goal. He's not been able to achieve that, but he backed himself to do that. And the people that were champ were Usyk, Tyson. Like Josh said, our friend is a cruiserweight. He trains with Moses quite a bit. And when Moses came out, he was saying, he's going to beat Tyson's record. And I was saying, he's not. He might be good enough, but the politics, he's never going to get a shot. Never. Because of the politics and rankings, how it works now. But if he's got a chance to become the youngest ever undisputed champ in a four-belt era, and he's the only one who's got the speed to keep up with Usyk. No one else is really that quick, and he's probably maybe a little bit quicker. Yeah, he hasn't got the experience, but again, go back to the past when Ali was supposed to fight Sonny Liston. They were like, why are you letting this loudmouth fight Sonny Liston? It's Sonny Liston. He's not ready, he's too green. What happened? He knocked him out, and then he knocked him out again in the rematch quicker. I say, and if Moses loses to Usyk, he can still go on and dominate the division. But if he wins, it's great. And if Usyk beats up Moses, it's great for his legacy that he beat the future, like when Mayweather beat Canelo. So I think that fight's a win-win. And I think he's ready. And I think he should take that fight next. So that's how much I'm backing Moses, that I think it's going to be... I couldn't tell you who's going to win if them two fought.
I want to quickly get Ollie's take on that, what you said there about you're throwing him in there against Usyk and would he win? Yeah. I mean, I agree with Chris. It is probably a win-win. If he loses to Usyk, it's generational talent, Usyk and all the rest of it. But I think just maybe he hasn't been in with anyone in the pro ranks, at least, with that level of experience and know-how of Usyk, and that might just get Usyk over the line for me. Ollie, I want to get your opinion on that. If Moses fights Usyk next, how does that play out, mate? Just in your head.
I don't see him beating Usyk now. I think he needs another year or so, to sort of keep going. But
rounds.
It's like Usyk's great. You was at the fight, right? You was at the Dubois fight.
Yeah.
Mate, how great is that guy? He's on another level entirely. He does. He's just, obviously, it don't take me to sit here and say how great he is, but he glides. He does his thing. Like, it wasn't even a fight to me. Do you know what I mean? Dubois had nothing for him, but Also, I think there's an element of if he retires undefeated Usyk, you've got the new generation, and there's that. If he loses, I know what you're saying about it doesn't really matter, but in some ways it does because he lost, right? And then it does take your lure away a little bit if you're not undefeated anymore.
Yeah.
And especially if Usyk beats him, you got to think Usyk's going to expose him if he was to win, right? It's not a foregone conclusion he'll win because Moses could chin him, of course, but you got to fancy if Usyk was, it'd be like every other Usyk fight. He'd figure him out and he'd sort of outclass.
Cheers, Ollie. Good insights.
Yeah, we've lost Squeeze the Net podcast. He had a bit of technical difficulties, but we're going to get him on again.
We're going to carry on. Couple more good questions. It's looking like, not an exciting name, Jermaine Franklin, Chris, is the top runner. I understand it because he gave AJ and Whyte, he took them 12 rounds a couple of years ago. He's been pretty inactive, though. I was looking, he hasn't fought since May last year. So on paper, it looks good, Chris Franklin. But actually, I think Moses would just blow him away. I really do. What do you make of that? Because it's looking like Franklin is the lead runner at the moment for his next fight.
Yeah.
I won't talk sport, by the way.
I won't worry about the activity too much because now, these days, fighters only fight once a year, twice if they're lucky. Let's have it right.
Heavyweights as well.
Yeah, especially at the highest level. It's once or twice a year. So I think that's starting to be the theme now and that people are used to it. I don't think he'll blow him away because Franklin is very good at not getting himself knocked out, you know? When he fought Dillian, when he fought AJ, this will be a good fight where Moses is going to have to fight someone who is good at running away and not engaging. And he's going to have to figure it out and he could get frustrated. He could get like maybe 3 or 4 rounds out of it. But I think that's the wrong move. He needs a challenge. I think him and Hrgovic should fight because Hrgovic has got the beard to take his shots and still be there and fire back. And I just think he needs someone.
I like the Hrgovic fight. I really like that fight.
So do I.
I think that's a great match because I think I see Moses winning either way, points or knockout, but I think Hrgovic gives him a little bit of a run for his money.
Yeah. And Hrgovic will be there coming to win, something to prove. This will be a competitive fight, could go the distance, and he'll definitely get rounds. There's no way he's not blowing Hrgovic out. I think that's the best fight because you can't keep saying someone's a special talent and then putting them in fights that we know they're going to win. You've got to have a baptism of fire.
Yes,
steel sharpens steel. He needs a proper test.
Do you think Hrgovic? I know they both work. I know obviously Hrgovic and his team work with Queensberry. Do you think Hrgovic will take that fight if the money's right? If they put a few mil on the table, do you see Hrgovic taking it?
100. Because even if he does, gets a title shot next. This is throwing a spanner in the works, though, that I didn't think Usyk was going to do. Usyk's going to fight Parker and defend his undisputed titles.
Is that looking likely? Because I haven't seen the latest on that yet. Is that looking...
yeah, so basically, Usyk's got an injury, so he said he wants more time to negotiate the fight with Parker. Don't take my belt from me. I'm injured. Sent WBO a doctor's note proving the injury. So he's not saying, oh, fuck it, I'll vacate. So it's looking like Usyk's in his mind is thinking, I don't want to give my belts up, and I want to carry on fighting, and he's going to fight Parker next. It's look, because if you weren't going to fight Parker, and you're injured, why not just vacate it and say, oh, I'm injured anyway, fuck it, yeah. Let Parker and Moses, he's not doing that. He's saying, I'm injured. I need more time to negotiate the fight, please. So I can judge how long the injury is to how long I'm going to need to be ready to fight for the fight. So it's looking like he's not vacating and he wants to keep the belt and he wants to fight Parker.
I'm pleased for Parker on that, actually. I know that's probably a separate video, but that, Parker deserves it. I sort of had or theory whether Moses is going to ever have that. He's a very stoic, down-to-earth person. I just wonder whether is he going to have that crossover appeal that we saw with Fury and AJ, or is it too early to tell?
I think he is. He just needs to get them signature wins because don't forget the reason why AJ had that appeal because he was knocking people out in the O2 every month, nearly not every month, but he was fighting regularly and he was knocking them out in style and he was doing it in front of the British fans. And he was making all the right moves, going on Graham Norton. He was going on a league of their own. He was doing everything.
Good looking. That helped as well. Looks great. Yeah. That all does help, though, doesn't it?
That's
Fury obviously had a massive personality. I think to have that crossover appeal, that X factor, because, I look at the kind of Boots Ennis, Crawford, that kind of massive talents, but they're not worldwidely famous. No. Whereas AJ and Fury, to Mayweather, Mike Tyson, Ollie, household names. And I get that's my thing. I'm like, does Itauma have that X factor where, yeah, he could be an undisputed, probably will be. Will he be that kind of household? I think probably he could with the right marketing, but I'm just interested because he has got that very mature, and composed, he doesn't say too much, but says what he needs to, and that's it, you know?
Well, even if he doesn't, he can earn it on his achievements.
Yeah.
Usyk, no one really cared about him, no one really knew, but because of his achievements in boxing, now it's impossible to deny. No one can deny or look at him and think, oh, no, he's not great, or they don't want to watch him. It's not like when Vladimir was on top. No matter what Vladimir did, we all hated him because his fights were shit and boring. Let's have it right. They were. They were shit and boring, and no one wanted to watch them. But
1-2 grab.
Yeah, but with Usyk, they weren't. His fights got more and more exciting and better as they went on, as he come into his own in the heavyweight division, and now it's undeniable on his achievements. Everyone loves him because we're British fans who love boxing.
And his personality's come out a little bit more, which I think helped. And I think, yeah, you're right. It's a fair point because I think with Usyk as well, I think as people got to know him as a man more and a proud patriotic Ukrainian and the war effort and how he comes across and, you know, being a promoter of female boxing. And I think that all raised his profile as well. So at the end of the day, Moses is 20 and I saw him in an interview today, actually, and this said it all. He said, look, I'm not in this game to be a superstar. He said, it's a byproduct of it. I've been boxing since I was 9. I just love to box. And I think that says a lot about him and his team. They're just keeping his head nice and small. Yeah, anything else to add, Chris, before we wrap it up?
Yeah, just one thing. Have you heard that he got dropped in sparring? So Sam Briggs alluded to it, said, I heard he got dropped in sparring a couple of times. So who do you think it was? And what do you make of it?
Well, I've forgotten the name, actually, because, as you know, Josh and Joseph, who I sort of reference quite a lot, obviously Joshua knows him very well, Joshua Antonio, and they actually told me the name of the guy that's now eluded. They told me who it was because Moses spoke about it, and apparently, you heard it here first, Moses really pissed off about that as well, apparently.
Why was it a cheap shot?
I know, he just was pissed off that he got dropped because that's how much of how good he wants to be.
Yeah.
He was just frustrated with it, which shows again.
So it's true then, it's true.
I believe it's true, and I wish I just have forgotten. It's someone you wouldn't think who was a decent heavyweight but never really forgotten his name. It doesn't fucking matter. People get dropped in sparring. In sparring, the thing is, you're working on stuff. You're maybe going to take more. You're going to take more chances in sparring that you're maybe going to do in the fight. You know, you're going to take risks. Your chin's in the air. You switch. It happens. I never read too much into it because also allegedly, Chris, he sparred Dubois a lot and battered him. Right? Allegedly, I'm not. Don't all start shouting at me in the comments, all you Dubois fanboys. But allegedly, he smashed him to bits in sparring, but. That doesn't necessarily mean he'd smash him to bits if they fought now in the pro ring. Not necessarily. So I don't know if you disagree with any of that what I said, but that's my take with all that.
I totally agree. If someone gets dropped in sparring, who cares? Did he get dropped in the ring? No, he did not. That's what counts.
Like, sub, you know, helps us out. We're still growing. Would really appreciate that. Comments.
Thanks, guys. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.